Let's start with respect. This is not entertainment. This is not hype. This is truth. Most people repeat the same choices day after day. They stay busy, they feel productive, but they rarely act in ways that actually matter. Before we go further, I want to ask you something. Answer honestly in the comments. Which city and country are you watching from? New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, London, or somewhere else? Because where you are is not trivial. Your environment shapes your decisions subtly and relentlessly. Here is a fact that cannot be avoided. Human beings do not drift upward. Without intervention, without intention, we decay. We do not improve automatically. Patterns left unexamined compound quietly. Small missteps, small compromises, small lapses in attention build over months and years. They do not cancel each other out. They accumulate. This is not motivation. Motivation is unreliable. What I am describing is an internal warning system. Time lost is irretrievable. Your habits, your routines, or the lack thereof silently decide the trajectory of your life. To understand why most people feel stuck, we start with a core mechanism. The moment motivation fails and systems take over or fail to take over, you do not lack motivation. You lack a system that removes choice. That is the uncomfortable reality most people avoid. Motivation is emotional, emotions fluctuate, systems operate independently of feeling. They do not care how inspired you are. They do not pause when your mood changes. They function because they are designed to function. The human brain is designed to seek efficiency. When choice exists, it evaluates comfort first. Faster than conscious thought, each morning the brain faces a decision. If there is no structure, no plan, no preset behavior, it searches instinctively for the least demanding option. This is not weakness, it is biology. The problem comes when people mistake this instinctive resistance for personal failure. It is not a reflection of your character. It is a reflection of your environment. Choice without structure invites negotiation. Negotiation drains energy. Energy loss masquerades as laziness. This is why discipline collapses so easily. Not because people cannot act, but because they are forced to decide constantly. Decision fatigue starts early. It compounds silently. By mid-morning, self-control is already partially depleted. Then the person labels themselves inconsistent. That label becomes identity. Identity shapes behavior. A simple absence of structure becomes a long-term character flaw. Systems remove this chain reaction. They pre-decide behavior, they compress effort into automation. When a routine exists, execution bypasses emotion. There is no debate, no scanning for alternatives. The action occurs because it is scheduled. Ego is removed from the process. Ego resists effort, systems do not. Most people cling to choice because they confuse freedom with flexibility. Flexibility feels good. It seems empowering. It is not. It is destabilizing. Structure feels restrictive. It does not feel good at first, but structure is liberating. When behavior is predetermined, mental bandwidth rises, focus sharpens, confidence stabilizes. The core problem is this. People wait to feel motivated. Motivation is a response, not a cause. Action must come first. Systems generate momentum. Momentum produces motivation. Reversing this sequence keeps people trapped. They believe they must feel ready emotionally before acting. That belief is paralysis. Awareness begins when you realize that inconsistency is not a moral failure. It is an architectural failure. Your environment is voting against you. Your mornings are asking questions your brain is not equipped to answer wisely. Remove the questions. Replace them with instructions. This is not self-control. It is self-design. High performers do not fight resistance directly. They design around it. They anticipate resistance and plan for it. They accept that feelings are unreliable. They build systems that work without permission from emotion. This is precision. Precision eliminates waste. Waste appears as procrastination. Procrastination is delayed self-trust. Each delay quietly weakens confidence. Confidence is built through follow-through. Follow-through requires predictability. Predictability requires systems. Without systems, you relive the same internal argument daily. Each repetition strengthens delay. Eventually, delay feels normal. Normal feels safe. Safety replaces growth. Potential erodes quietly, all because choice was left exposed. Every unplanned morning is a quiet decision to live reactively, not consciously, subconsciously. The absence of intention becomes an intention. The mind defaults to stimulus response mode. External inputs dictate internal state. Notifications replace priorities. Urgency replaces importance. The day begins already behind. Reaction feels productive. It is not, it is defensive. When mornings lack structure, the nervous system stays alert. Alertness without direction becomes anxiety. Anxiety seeks relief. Relief often looks like distraction. The cycle repeats. Reactivity becomes identity. People say they are flexible. In reality, they are unanchored. Without a morning framework, values remain abstract. Behavior becomes opportunistic. Whatever is loudest wins. This erodes self-trust. Self-trust is built when actions align with priorities. Unplanned mornings prevent alignment. They hand control to the environment. Awareness begins when you notice patterns. You wake rushed. You check inputs before setting direction. You respond before deciding. The brain learns to expect interruption. Deep work becomes uncomfortable. Stillness feels unsafe. Dopamine spikes fragment attention. Fragmented attention weakens persistence. Persistence is required for meaningful outcomes. The cost is cumulative. One reactive morning seems harmless. Repeated daily, it rewires behavior. Agency diminishes. Life begins to feel like it is happening to you. That feeling breeds resentment. Resentment drains energy. Energy loss is blamed on circumstances. Planning the morning is not about control. It is about reclaiming agency. A simple sequence restores order. Order calms the nervous system. Calm enables focus. Focus enables deliberate action. Deliberate action rebuilds trust with yourself. Trust compounds. People resist planning because it exposes priorities. Exposure invites accountability. Accountability threatens comfort. Comfort maintains stagnation. The mind will rationalize chaos to protect comfort. It will say structure kills creativity. Evidence contradicts this. Creativity requires containment. Boundaries preserve attention. The morning is the boundary. It frames the day. When framed, the mind relaxes. Relaxation allows depth. Depth produces results. Results reinforce identity. Identity stabilizes behavior. Most people never enter this loop. They stay reactive. They mistake movement for progress. Awareness begins when you realize drifting is a choice. Not a dramatic one, a quiet one, repeated. Unplanned mornings are decisions against intention. Comfort in the morning trains weakness for the rest of the day, not because comfort is evil, because timing matters. The brain is most impressionable when it wakes. Neural patterns are flexible. Identity is not locked. What you choose then signals priorities, tolerance, and control. Early ease sets the rule. Effort is optional. That rule spreads. Discomfort early sets the tone. Small, controlled, predictable effort signals seriousness. Weakness is a pattern, not a trait. Patterns can be redesigned. Stop confusing comfort with care. If your first hour is negotiable, your standards are already broken. Negotiability implies flexibility. Flexibility destroys consistency. Consistency builds trust. Trust starts internally. Shifting standards teach conditional commitment. Conditional commitment fails under pressure. Pressure reveals the truth of standards. The first hour is where pressure is lowest. That is why it matters most. Standards set, then anchor the day. Negotiation introduces loopholes. Loopholes invite rationalization. Rationalization preserves comfort. Comfort undermines growth. People believe standards are big decisions. They are not. They are small, non-negotiables. Mornings expose them because excuses are weakest. No fatigue, no chaos yet. If behavior still varies, the issue is agreement. You have not decided who is in charge. Standards require authority. Authority requires clarity. Clarity is uncomfortable. Options feel safe. Safety without direction becomes stagnation. Fixed first hour with energy conserved. Conserved energy fuels execution. Execution builds momentum. Momentum reduces resistance. Resistance creates excuses. Predictability removes excuses. You simply act. Discipline fails when identity is vague and promises are optional. Discipline is not force, it is agreement. Agreement between who you believe you are and how you act when no one is watching. When identity is unclear, behavior is negotiable. Negotiation introduces delay. Delay introduces doubt. Doubt erodes follow-through. Most people change the story to avoid discomfort. They explain the miss, justify the slip, soften the promise. Softened promises are not promises. They are preferences. Preferences do not survive resistance. Identity-driven commitments do. The brain seeks evidence of who you are. Inconsistency weakens identity. Weak identity cannot enforce discipline. Discipline without identity feels like punishment. Punishment triggers avoidance. Avoidance becomes habit. Habit becomes character. Small inconsistencies scale into life-wide unreliability. Promises to yourself quietly build trust. Each kept promise strengthens authority. Each broken one weakens it. Distraction is self-protection from growth. Growth requires focus. Focus removes escape routes. Sustained attention surfaces uncomfortable truths. Limits appear. Responsibility becomes unavoidable. The mind avoids exposure. It introduces interruption. Interruption feels relieving. Relief reinforces the pattern. Dopamine spikes reward avoidance. Distraction is strategic. It reveals where growth is needed. Sit there longer, calmly. Let the urge pass. Nervous system recalibrates. Discomfort tolerance rises. Focus stabilizes. Growth resumes quietly. Confidence erodes when small agreements are broken. Confidence is created through reliability, not achievement. Each small promise is a test. Wake time, start time, one action done as stated. Missed, the mind records, you are not dependable. Effort decreases. Standards soften. The mind stops expecting follow-through. This is learned prediction. Ambition feels heavy. Avoidance confirms the belief. Confidence drops. Treat small commitments as training. Keep them calmly. Identity sharpens. Discipline follows quietly. Waiting to feel ready keeps potential theoretical. Readiness is a feeling. Feelings follow action. The brain responds to movement. Waiting keeps the nervous system inert. Inertia feels safe. Safety delays exposure. Exposure is where learning happens. Without exposure, skill does not develop. Without skill, confidence cannot form. Waiting feels responsible. It is avoidance disguised as patience. Chaos early, shared excuses later. Predictability serve power. Early disorder drains cognitive resources. Attention scatters. Energy goes to orienting. By the time effort is needed, capacity is low. Low capacity seeks justification. Justification becomes excuse. Predictability removes the need for explanation. You act. Power comes quietly. If you cannot command your morning, you obey your environment. Obedience is default. Without direction, the strongest signal wins. Notifications, requests, noise. The environment is optimized for attention capture, not your priorities. Following feels easier. It removes responsibility. Responsibility requires intention. Intention requires clarity. Clarity requires decision. Decision eliminates options. Options feel comforting. Comfort trades control for ease. Control is required for progress. The morning sets the chain of command. If you do not lead, external inputs do. This is subtle. You respond once, then again. Reaction becomes habit. Habit becomes identity. Identity shapes outcomes. Command is alignment. Decide first, act second, respond last. Order restores agency. Agency stabilizes behavior. Stability builds leverage. Leverage changes outcomes. Now you see the pattern, not theory. Behavior repeated daily, choice exposed, standards negotiable, comfort mistimed, identity vague, distraction normalized, small promises broken, readiness used as delay, chaos tolerated early, environment allowed to lead. It compounds into a life that feels busy but stalled. This moment matters. Your future self remembers patterns, not intentions. Patterns become outcomes. Responsibility is ownership. No one is coming to fix your defaults. This is how Myron Thinks breaks down behavior. Not hype, not motivation, understanding what drives action. Thank you for staying present. If this brought clarity, subscribe. No noise, no hype, just grounded understanding of behavior.